Hello and welcome back to Monster Monday. Today, I'm going to go over some quick ones that you can use straight out of the Monster Manual to just toss right into your game. Let's get started. Okay guys, in the back of the Monster Manual is Appendix A, and this is basically a collection of things that you can use, and there are a whole bunch of interesting little things that you can use, and they don't have like art, and they don't have really lengthy like flavor text. They're just kind of like monster stat block. So I thought I'd go through one of these things because I think they're really kind of useful, and as a DM, you should definitely look through all of these. Now, some of them are standard animals like baboon, badger, black bear, bat. And there are stat blocks for those in the player's handbook for some of those standard animals. But then there's some cool ones here. And as I was looking through the Appendix A, I came across the death dog. So that's what I'm going to focus on for this short episode of Monster Monday. A death dog is an ugly two-headed hound that roams plains, deserts, and the Underdark. Hate burns into Death Dog's heart, and a taste for humanoid flesh drives it to attack travelers and explorers. Death Dog saliva carries a foul disease that causes a victim's flesh to slowly rot off the bone. I don't know why this thing doesn't have like a whole page, because when I read this, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, this is great. Think about the many locations where you could use a Death Dog. All right, now, they are challenge rating 1, so they're perfect for, you know, a group of like second and third level adventurers to just, you know, if you're like, oh, I need to just throw something in at them on the road or while they're traveling from point A to point B, a Death Dog is a perfect option. How do you scale this? Of course, you know, one of the reasons why all of you enjoy my Monster Mondays so much is my genius mind likes to think of ways to use things so that you can surprise your players. So scaling the Death Dog is super easy and super fun, and we're going to get into it. Of course, all the standard scaling mechanisms that I like to use, like boosting their armor class and hit points, yeah, absolutely doable. But let's look at what the basic challenge rating 1 guy can do first, and then we'll talk about how to expand it. So they are two-headed. The dog has advantage on wisdom and perception checks, and on saving throws against being blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, stunned, or knocked unconscious. Now, offensively speaking, we'll talk about what that means in terms of their 2 bite attacks. But I think just as you as a DM create the encounter where you're using the Death Dog, think about the fact that they are hunters. That's kind of the mode that you have to be in. They are ravenous hunters. They are singularly focused on eating the flesh of your adventuring party. So they would use that perception to their advantage. Okay, don't just have them like, right? This is a great opportunity for you as a DM to have a situation where the party is traveling and you take advantage of their passive perception. Now, if you make a roll, and by the way, Death Dogs have a +4 to their stealth roll. If you make a roll and that stealth roll successfully surpasses the passive perception of everyone in the party, then you keep track of how long the Death Dog is like stalking the party. If the party was alert and had their weapons drawn, the Death Dog might not just decide to attack. It might, as a hunter would, wait for a better opportunity. Maybe that opportunity is when the party stops at night to camp, and they set up their camp and they set up watch, right? And then some of them go to sleep. And again, you know, if they say that they are scouting and actively searching for any potential threats, then have them make some perception checks. And maybe one of them rolls high enough to defeat the stealth of the Death Dog who's stalking them. And they say, look at that two-headed, you know, dog over there, kill it, right? Well, maybe the Death Dog runs away. Self-preservation. It could always come back. It could always hunt them down again and, you know, smell them out, sniff them out, and find a better opportunity. So just because it's a challenge rating 1 doesn't mean you have to have it just charge into death, right? Take advantage of this to build also some of the narrative. Maybe that, you know, maybe there's a moment where somebody's on watch at night, they're in the camp and they hear some twigs cracking in the distance. All right, I'm gonna go investigate it, right? Or maybe they wake up other members in the party, be like, I heard something over there. Okay, what is it? The first time you run through that, have it just be like a skunk. Like literally have there be a skunk there. Or some other nighttime animal. But skunks are fun because then they spray and the party's like, oh, damn it, right? But it could be a badger or whatever, just some conventional creature that's in the area, that's native to the area, and definitely not a threat. What this does is it basically puts your players at a point where they're thinking like, oh, all right, it was just a noise, you know. But secretly, that death dog is out there watching. And then they go back, and then you have them, you know, maybe the death dog moves to a better position and it starts to move in a little closer. And maybe they hear something if they have a high perception. And then you say like, yeah, you know what, you see something move in the bushes off to the south. And then maybe that player will be like, oh, it's probably just another raccoon or whatever you used in the first encounter. And they blow it off. And that is when the death dog takes its opportunity to strike. Or maybe that player goes out and decides not to wake up the rest of his or her comrades while they're sleeping and just goes out to check on it themselves. Death dog attacks. So the death dog is a hunter. Think like a hunter and take advantage of opportunities when the death dog would have the best chance of getting some meat. All right, let's take a look at their actual attacks. So they have multi-attack. They make 2 bite attacks. The melee weapon attack is +4 to hit. It's 1d6 plus 2 piercing damage. So it's not that deadly per se. I guess against a level 1 party, this might be a greater challenge and people could die. But level 2, level 3, this is definitely okay. But here's the real clincher. It's not just the bite damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 12 Constitution save against disease or become poisoned until the disease is cured. Every 24 hours that elapse, the creature must repeat the saving throw, reducing its hit point maximum by 1d10 on a failure. This reduction lasts until the disease is cured. The creature dies if the disease reduces its hit point maximum to 0. Now you might think like, oh well, you know, if they have somebody in the party who can cure that poison, that disease, not a big deal. And that's fine. But this bite, one bite that results in an infection could lead to a little side story arc now, where the party has to find like a healer. They have to find like a village or some settlement nearby where they might get help. And that could lead into another adventure. So see, using this simple death dog as a catalyst to drive an adventure or plot hook is one way to kind of take advantage of this creature and make it part of your narrative, part of your larger adventure, and not just random monster encounter that attacks the party. So really, it kind of goes to the main philosophy that I have in general and the whole point of Monster Monday, which is just think deeper. Think deeper about how you could use these things. Now, how do we scale this? Well, as I said earlier, the standard scaling applies, you know, boost its armor class, you know, boost its hit points, certainly, if you want this to be an encounter with a mid-level party. But here's my hook, right? So far, we've been talking about one death dog. Well, who's to say that there couldn't be a pack? And who's to say that if you had a mid or high-level party, that you could have a pack of powerful death dogs who also use pack tactics. Now, if you're like, what's pack tactics, Bill? Well, that's like under any wolf or dire wolf or dog, there's this description of pack tactics. The creature has advantage on attack rolls against a creature if at least one of its allies is within 5 feet of it, and the ally isn't incapacitated. So it's like flanking. It's like the optional flanking bonus to get advantage, but it's inherent in these animals. It's not strategic military training flanking, it's pack tactics. Now, pack tactics don't exist in the description for the death dog, but who's to say that if you needed an alternative to other creatures and you wanted to throw something interesting into the mix for your mid-level adventurers, you could put 4 death dogs together and give them pack tactics. You could even kit bash. You could even steal a little bit from the dire wolf and a little bit from the death dog and make yourself a new creature, a new breed. Maybe they crossbred, or maybe they were crossbred by some crazy evil druid. Oh, Bill, the ideas are just rolling today. Yeah, maybe you crossbreed dire wolves with death dogs and you have dire death dogs. Oh, caramba. Dire death dogs. So instead of being medium creatures now, they're large. Instead of doing 1d6 plus 2 damage, they do 2d6 plus 3 with their bites because they got big effing heads and huge fangs. And they do that disease bite. There you go. So you want to scale it up for your mid and high level adventurers, add more of them, give them a hit point boost, give them a higher armor class, have their bite attacks do more damage, and give them pack tactics. And all of a sudden, death dogs become the new scary foe in your campaign. Now, this would not be Monster Monday if I did not give you some kind of long-term campaign option. And you were probably thinking there's no way that Bill's gonna pull a death dog out of an appendix and throw it into a campaign. Oh yes, I am, right now. Here it is, your crazy druid, your insane druid, who once was a good druid, who was known throughout the region, kind of like a folk hero, has been corrupted. By what? Not sure. Maybe a demon. I don't know. You make that up. But your once good druid has been corrupted and is now creating all of these strange abominations of nature to do his evil bidding, to terrorize the region, the folk of the region. To what end? Because he and maybe the evil one above him want to drive everybody out of this region so that they can use its natural and magical resources for their own malevolent ends. And your death dogs are just part of that little, they're a piece in that big puzzle of this plot. There's your campaign seed. So I hope this little foray into Appendix A has been fascinating for you. I had a lot of fun with it, and hopefully you might be able to find a way to use death dogs in your games if you're a DM. And if you have used death dogs, please share in the comments below. I love to read people's stories about how they've used the monsters that I'm talking about. And if you've encountered them as a player in a game, share those stories too. They're always fun. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing, for liking, and for spreading the word about the channel. I appreciate your support, and we'll see you on the next Monster Monday.
Well, hello, it's me, Wizzy. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. And then don't forget to tune in to the next episode of whatever show you are just watching, and crafting videos and DM tips and pro tips for vlogging and all sorts of gaming things. And also you could watch Bill eat food and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.